Welcome back to our listeners for part 2 of the Aging Well podcast as we dive into, just great conversation. We're going to pick up right where we left off last week. So, Dr. Armstrong, right where you picked up last week, you were talking about the importance of exercise science and some of the stuff that we were actually missing. What is it, do you think, that we're missing or we're overlooking, and how would you change that if you were in control of all of the exercise scientists?
If I was in control, we'd be teaching a Zercher squat to everybody. Everybody would be doing a Zercher squat. I think, again, it would be putting a little bit more emphasis on strength training and understanding that lifting heavy is important, and it's not detrimental to the health and welfare of an older adult to lift heavy, because heavy is relative. If we want to be pushing strength, again, without causing injury, but be pushing strength as opposed to lifting light weights for high repetitions and calling that strength training. And, keep doing cardio, but, do get people moving as much as possible, and then be doing some higher intensity type of movements in order to promote a maintenance of VO2 max. So it's pretty simple. I don't think I'm really putting great demands on the exercise science field. It's just kind of, let's follow the KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid, and get people moving in the right ways, and understand that just because I'm 62 does not mean that I am going to move like a 62-year-old or hell, I don't even think I move like 50-year-olds. I think, I'm working at trying to kind of break the mold a little bit. Now, there's people that are in far greater shape than me at 60, 70, even 80. Sometimes that's genetics, but most of the times it's that they've just been living the hell out of life.
Well, also, I think having the primary focus be on just resistance training, some of our listeners are probably asking themselves, why? Why do I need to change my routine right now? And focus primarily on lifting. And I think it just comes down to, it helps with your overall strength, your balance, your stability. All of these are critical and very important for when you start to age or start to hit into that third age zone bracket, or even that fourth age zone bracket.
I would argue it's important in the second as well. And
well, yeah, totally.
Probably even in first, so across the lifespan, being able to move effectively and to be able to lift as much as you can. I mean, again, we think of, how important it is for me to be able to deadlift 400, 500 pounds. Well, maybe not the deadlift itself per se, but, can you lift up your grandchild? Can you lift that box that Amazon has delivered? It's like we get dog food delivered now, like on a monthly basis for the 2 dogs. And it's always a big, heavy box because there's always other stuff in it as well. What would if I was older and weaker and that stuff showed up on my porch, can I roll the box into the house? I mean, I want to be able to lift it and move it around. I want to be able to function.
Right.
And so functionality is really, really, really important when it comes to aging well.
I think functionality also comes down to flexibility as well. And I know for my own personal exercise routines, like I'm really lacking in the flexibility department. And I've always been aware of it, but I've becoming more involved with the youth recently, like youth groups and stuff like that. And just going around and playing games with the kids and keeping up with their energy level. I have the energy to keep up with their energy level. I've obviously got the strength to help lift and move the items that we set up for games. But when it comes to flexibility, sometimes it's hard to get all the way to the ground when you're in certain positions, and you're like, man, this is embarrassing. I don't feel old at all. I feel really youthful. There's certain days where you're a little bit more tight in certain joints, but you just move around and you're good, right? But man, that flexibility aspect that's something, luckily I'm catching it now, and I gotta work on it. But yeah, geez Louise, range of motion is a great thing. And if you can't do it, then
you better start
focusing on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, well, you mentioned like carrying groceries and Amazon bags, but we just moved into a new house, and also carrying a wheelbarrow. It's also lifting the cinder blocks. It's also throwing the giant bags of soil or gravel or whatever it is that you're doing, make everything look good. Like, I can do all of that. It's just like getting in positions and like having the flexibility to, because when I pick stuff up, I usually just squat down and pick it up, realizing I only have one kind of range of motion. I need to get the whole aspect of it. That was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to this. Let's get focused.
Sounds good.
So in contrast to high performance models, what does everyday resilience look like through your lens?
Well, I think you kind of touched on that a little bit. I mean, being able to move cinder blocks, move a wheelbarrow, but even beyond that, I would say, some of the important things that we will need to do as we get older is, can we walk up steps? Can we cross the street fast enough that, cars aren't going to be delayed or be hitting us? Can we squat down and get up from the toilet? Can we clean our houses? Can we cook for ourselves? Can we carry the groceries in from the car? And I love carrying as many of those bags as I can. I mean, it's somewhat showing off, but it's, I know that if I don't, then over time, I'm going to be able to carry less and less of it, and it's going to become more and more of a burden. So when we talk about everyday resilience, we're looking at being able to manage the tasks that will enable us to live independently, to function at a level that gives us a life that we want to have, whether it's being able to hike, play with the kids, play with the grandkids, walk the dogs. The list goes on and on. What do you want to accomplish in life? What do you need to be able to do to continue to perform that as we get older? And what do you want to be? What do you want to look like when you're 90, 100, 120? Whatever your goals might be. I think a lot of people is, if I survive to be 70, I've done well. Well, that's not the case anymore.